Good afternoon from Vietnam, Celine. Thanks a lot for spending your morning to join our inspiration show and share your thought on the topic of thinking, because this is something that we want to share the insights from experts like you, so that people can learn from your ways of doing and your ways of thinking. So thanks a lot for joining.
Ciao, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And Jesseline, we want to say happy holiday season to you in advance, right? And then enjoy your time with your sisters, with your parents, and I know
Thank
it's going to be a
you.
very good time for everybody to meet and greet, right?
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And let's start with the topic that we want to talk for today. And
Hmm?
as a, my style is that I always try to go with the basic first. All right. So
Hmm.
if we want to talk about thinking, let's understand how you define thinking. So how is that Celine is define thinking in your word?
Thinking. Thinking, in my words, is a way of reflecting
Mm.
to understand the world, understand our own actions, how we react to stimulus. So it's a way of reflecting on things rather than just going through life, going with the flow. But it's a way of exercising judgment
Mm.
and opening up possibilities rather than seemingly going with the flow or the course of life. But it's maybe taking a step back and trying to pause and observe and maybe make new connections.
I see. Thank you. So it's the reflections of pain, and then
Yeah.
rethink on how things is going around us, right?
Yes, exactly. Maybe taking a meta perspective on things and on ourselves, on behaviors, on discourse, and so on. And um, taking understanding that things are not necessarily what they look like, what they appear to be, or that they have maybe several meanings, that several perspectives are interesting and fruitful on
Mm.
things, and not just one.
Mm.
That our belief is maybe just a belief, and that kind of thing. So taking exercising judgment and caution, I would say. Also caution
Wonderful.
in the sense that there might be more, there might be underlying realities and meanings and causes. And so there's a lot about networks and connections
Mm.
in my approach to thinking. It's about connecting different perspectives, different people, different ideas, different thoughts.
Beautiful.
That's how I would define thinking, maybe.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Celine, in your line of works, you've been meeting a lot of amazing people, right? And a lot of
Mm.
them are
Mm.
very, very good thinker. So,
Mm.
um, in so how do you know if a person is a good thinker or if it's not a good
Mm.
thinker?
I would say first, things are quite relative.
Mm.
Somebody can appear to me as a good thinker, and to you may not appear as a good thinker, and vice versa. So I think, we analyze things through our own filters. But I like people who stimulate me. I like people who bring me to places where I would not necessarily have gone on by myself. Um, I like people who do not who elevate me,
Mm.
and I really try to avoid people who drag me down, like, I don't know, some TV hosts, popular influencers that provide people what they like to hear.
Mm.
And sometimes these things they like to hear do not elevate them.
Mm.
And I try to avoid the company of those people as much as possible,
Mm.
and instead go to people who, bring me to other places, may make me think of ideas I wouldn't have had, or make me connect things differently, and so on. people who are generous also. That's also very important, to be generous in our thinking, to share, to connect people, instead of hoarding ideas, and copyright. These ideas are mine, and you need to pay to use them. I really hate that, right? So there's a sense of generosity in thinking, which is also, to me, a sign of good thinking.
Wow, wonderful. In the book that we write, Viv and I, we write the book called Thinking, right? And we break the acronym into 8 different words.
Yes,
and
I saw that in your post.
Yeah, and the G is for generosity. So it's we share ideas, we get more, and that help us to share, expand our perspectives. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing that to us. Okay, and for general population, Celine, if the people want to become a better thinker, in your advices, what should they do now so that in the near future they can think better?
I would say carve moments to be alone. Carve moments to be alone in your, in some quiet place. It doesn't have to take hours, but make sure you preserve those quiet moments for you yourself, where you're not distracted by all sorts of stuff, and you're not always in movement. Movement is great, and I am myself a lot of my time traveling, moving around, etc., and I love the excitement and the energy, but doing something all the time, being in the doing, is sort of preventing, in a way, or is blocking space for thinking. And I think those relaxation moments, or moments where your mind can wander and is not just focused on the next thing to do, but has no particular objective, and that's where you get creative, I believe. Wow. Or there's another way also, which is to be exposed or find ways to connect with art. Any sort of art, cinema or exhibition, whatever, books, poetry. I know poetry is very important in Vietnam, and these artistic stimulations are super important for thinking. They bring new ideas, really.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So the next question is about your way of doing this. So over the years, how have you, Celine, been having you expanding your thinking?
So I've been expanding my thinking through a lot of ways, but most recently, a big step forward for me was writing the book, because it forced me to research. I really envisioned. I considered this book as an exploration. And by the way, I think this is probably the core of everything, is this curiosity mindset. If you are able to stay curious and stimulate your own curiosity for things, that's where you keep on thinking and learning. So for me, this book was a process of exploration, and it was amazing. It was really wonderful to dive into every all rabbit holes. I really went into them and explored so many thinkers and books, articles, etc. So it was wonderful. On a more regular, in more regular times, when I don't have to write a book, I have so many tabs open on my computer, and I read articles. I don't watch TV at all. So I save time for. There's a lot of things from social networks, social media, articles, posts, blog posts. But writing is a great way, really. Yeah? When I don't write a book, I write blog posts, and they are a really important ways to connect ideas, to put ideas on paper, rather than have ideas just go across your brain and then leave. you know, trying to capture that and organize thoughts is really a good way to build on the new thinking.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. And I'm so happy that your book has got a lot of success around the world, and that make you been
Yeah, thank
traveling a
you.
lot and help organization to share more on the idea behind it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Mm,
have a few more questions for you. All right. Uh,
please.
the first question that I want to ask is about the
Mm,
doings and the thinkings, because a lot of people
yes.
saying the thinking is more important than the doings. Then another group of people saying the
Mm.
doings are more important than the thinking. So, so Celine, what is your
Mm.
definition? What is your opinion on the two of them?
My opinion is that the two should be integrated.
Integrated.
I think there's no doing on the one side and thinking on the other side. Well, maybe just in terms of the time you spend um, doing things or being busy versus the time you spend thinking. But I think in real life, what's most interesting is to integrate the two, meaning that if you do things in a way that is consistent with your thinking,
Mm.
that's what I call integration. And that's where I find you give power to your actions because they
Mm.
are aligned with your thinking. You
Yeah.
see? So if you think about, for example, the importance of connections, and your actions are not at all about connections, well, then there's a discrepancy between the two and you don't give power enough to your actions. Well, in fact, if you um, do what you preach, right? If you apply your own thinking to yourself first and try to live coherently or consistently
Mm.
with your ideas, that's where I think you can have more impact.
Wow.
So that's, you see, for example, I was thinking of those people who hoard ideas and keep them to themselves. I remember, for example, a thinker who was very much about networks and community, but his behaviors were very much about himself.
Ah.
His ego, so you could see there was a distance between the thinking and the doing.
Ah.
You see, it was obvious for us, maybe not obvious for him, but for us, for everybody else, it was very clear. Well, if you bring back the two together and search for this coherence is what brings impact, in my
Wow.
opinion.
Wow. So it's an integrated part, right? And then if we can create a coherence
Yes,
between the two, then the impact will be a lot more.
exactly,
Thank you.
exactly.
Earlier, you mentioned that you don't watch TV. And so
Mm,
it helps you to have more time to write, to read, and to think,
yes.
right?
Mm,
So
yeah.
it's good to ask about the things that we need to stop doing also, so that for us to
Yes.
think
Yes.
better. So what else that you
Yeah.
think that we should stop doing so that we can
Mm,
better time to think?
mm. Yeah, that's a great question. What else? I think we should the thing we should try to stop doing is blaming
Mm.
the others for problems or the system or the government, or we tend to spend a lot of energy on finding somebody or an institution or responsible for problems.
Mm.
And that's easy because then there's no need for us to find solutions. Hmm?
Ah.
We say, oh, the government is bad, or the whatever CEO is bad, or the president or my manager is bad, whatever. But then this is a way that prevents us from thinking about solutions,
Mm.
you see, and thinking about our own role, our own contribution to both problems and solution.
Yeah.
If you just say, oh, those people here are, the bad ones, or and I am all good, well, then you do not put yourself into the position of contributing to the solution.
So stop the blaming.
Mm?
All right.
Yes,
Wonderful.
exactly.
Wonderful.
Mm.
And Celine, we are about to launch a new quick talks, like with people
Mm.
around the world also on just one topic, which is the one thing that they want to see in their leaders. right? So and then I'm gonna try on you first. This is out of the plan, but we're gonna try on you first. All right. So um, if I would believe that leaders are the one that can help building the world better place, right? So there's a lot of responsibility and a lot of things that we as a leader could do, and in order for us to do that, then we need to change to make sure that we can lead to the future, right? So what if we boil down everything into just one thing that a leader needs to change to get better at? What would that be to you?
To me,
Yes.
it would be a leader needs to understand that he or she is not a leader unless everybody else is a leader with them too. That means there's no such thing as a leader as an individual, as a one person. One leadership is not an individual skill, an individual set of skills. If people around me are not leaders as well with me and together, then I am not a leader. I am an autocrat, or I am an old-fashioned boss or manager, but I am not a leader. A leader is somebody who understands that leadership is a collective capacity. And there's no such thing as being above others, looking down at them because they are less clever or etc. I think this is wrong. This is not helping us. It comes from the past, but we need to let go of this hierarchical, autocratic, patriarchal approach of leadership. Leadership is something we need to collectively develop all together in connection.
Well, then the last question is, how do leaders do that?
How do leaders do that? By connecting with as many diverse people as possible, rather than staying in their little bubble, their comfort bubble, their validation bubbles, being surrounded by people like them who tell them what they like to hear. It's really important to keep going out of our bubble, try to connect, have conversations with people who are very, very different from us, people who don't believe the same things as us, or don't look like us, or this is what we should aim at every level. I remember a former CEO who had this private elevator to go from his parking lot to his office, so that he wouldn't meet anybody, in the elevator. He would not be disturbed by the little people. That is completely wrong. How could he, be exposed to other perspectives? How could he be challenged in his own thinking? No one challenges him. It's very hard when you have power, money or hierarchical power or both. No one challenges you. So how do you push your own thinking? It takes effort. It takes really personal efforts.
Wow. It's a very fruitful conversation, Celine. Thanks a lot for
thank you, Ha.
Give a lot of insights into these conversations, and I think that a lot of our listeners can pick on to reflect, to learn, and for some leaders to really look back at what they do, and are they ready for the future leader, to be a future leaders also. So thanks a lot.
Yeah. Cảm ơn Ha. Thank
you,
you.
Celine. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the snow. I know it's hectic there, but enjoy it December time, right?
Thank you so much, and say hello to your wife, and I wish you a wonderful time in your family as well.
To you too. Say hello to Leo and the family first,
All right.
okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Bye bye, chị Celine.
Chào em.
Chào chị.